around 16 or 18.
Yes, yes, sir. So now open.
Yeah, better.
Yes, Krishna, can you see?
Yeah, it is better. It is better.
So when we are taking 3,000 from office, it's come to Kansas City. So instant to instant is 1,000. So this is less value, right? So because we need to take higher than 3,000 or whatever the value.
This is, we have to take what you say. We have to take cost. This is not the cost. This is the the demand and supply values. Okay, just let us give a random cost values. This is demand and supply value. We don't need that we want to get from the machine, solver machine. How much to supply? How much the supply will be done from the factory to the transshipment points? How much the supply will be done from the transshipment points to the warehouses? That we need to get from the machine. So here, if you look at the values which is being written over there on the diagram, that values might have been, they might have written it by using some machine, or maybe they have written some using by some random values. Okay, what we need is that we want to calculate the supply volume, okay? Optimize supply volume, which will reduce our cost. So this we are building is a cost matrix. Optimized supply volume, which will reduce our cost, transportation cost.
First, can we give it another name? This 1,000.
What is 1,000?
Hello.
Yeah. What is 1,000?
1,000 like infinity, which we were doing earlier. So infinity So because I can see the distance from the Youngstown and Albany is also 1,000.
Yeah, so
It
that
will
is
mix
what
also.
that is what I'm telling. I'm trying to tell that is those values which are given there, 1,000 or all, they are actually the supply volume, and we have to calculate supply value. We don't need to use those values there. The value which are given, that is supply value. And what is the objective? Our objective is to calculate supply, minimize the cost. That is our objective. So they have not given us in this particular diagram. They have not given us the cost of shipment, cost per unit per kilometer. What is the cost of shipping 1 unit in 1 kilometer per 1 kilometer? Suppose we want to transport goods from Singapore to Thailand. Okay, so what is the cost of shipment per unit per kilometer? They have not given us there, so that we need to put randomly here. But we need to put randomly on those areas, those points where we have the connectivity. Like if you look at a factory, right? Factory which is in what is it? Yongoma something is there. I don't know. I'm not going to read that. So from there, the factory has supply points to all the three regional warehouses. So we need to put the cost per unit per kilometer values. They have not given us here. We need to write it randomly. Cost per unit. Suppose you are shipping from Thailand to Singapore, for example, the total distance is 500 kilometers. Okay, you can write down somewhere at the bottom below the diagram. I'll just tell you what we are trying to put there. The distance between Singapore and Thailand. Is 500 kilometers.
500?
Yeah. Okay. So now don't remove that unit there because we are going to do calculations. So if you put the units over there, we cannot do the calculations. Put the unit like kilometer and the next cell. If you can you do the calculations if you put number and text together, right? Just put the numbers separately, 500, because we will not be able to calculate. So in this, if I ask you to calculate, you can calculate. It is your responsibility. Okay, I told you what to do, but I think you're not getting the point. So I want the answer from you. Okay, so I told distance between Singapore and Thailand is 500 kilometers. So I don't know how you calculate. I don't know. Now second is, let's say the shipment volume is 200 units. Next point, shipment volume is 200 units. The cost of the total cost charged by 3PL partner. The total cost charged by 3PL partner is $2,000 US.
Sorry?
$2,000 US. Now we have $2,000 US, right? So we have this three information. Now what is the objective is to find cost per unit per kilometer. The charge, the charge taken by the fee taken by the shipment fee taken by shipment fee charged by shipment fee charged by 3PL partner in terms of cost per unit per kilometer. Cost per unit per kilometer. Can you find this from this info? We have these three pieces of information. So can you find this cost per unit per kilometer? We are not trying to do anything on the top diagram, right? The top diagram is not related to. There is no the information which you have written on the bottom. It has no connectivity with the top diagram, right? As of now. So from this three information, can you find the cost per unit per kilometer? Sure, we can also help Priyanka. But I think the issue with Priyanka's statement is she has not put numbers separately. She has mixed text and numbers together. For her to calculate, yeah, you will understand it. When you do the calculation, you will understand what I'm saying. When you do the calculation, then you will understand what I'm saying. Okay, now you calculate cost per unit per kilometer.
No, 4 USD per kilo. Total cost is 2,000 USD. Whereas total distance from Singapore to Cali is 500 kilometers. So per kilometers 4 USD.
Total distance shipping to Alvin. Total cost of so that is total USD. Then the shipment fee charged by the total continental transit per kilometer. Fee charged by fulfillment continental transit from it's just 20 US One divided by Shoaib, how will you do?
The reason why I told put the numbers separately, you have mixed the numbers and can you do calculations by mixing the text and numbers?
No.
I think you mix your text and numbers together. That's why you are struggling over here. Always important to keep mouse clutter away. Yeah, that's the way you would. Just write distance there. Simply distance, nothing else. Now, shipment volume, right volume. How much it is? 200 units. Right? Now total cost is how much? Total you can write simply total charge. Now it is how much? 2000. Okay. The first question is what is the total charge per kilometer? This charge is taken for 500 kilometers. So what is the charge per kilometer? So the charge per kilometer. You have to find. Next question is charge per kilometer. First, okay. Total charge for the entire shipment is $2,000 for 500 kilometers. Total charge for the 200 units and for 500 kilometers is $2,000. So what is total charge per kilometer? Suppose you are traveling from your home to some convention center. The distance is kilometer. Okay, your cab driver charge you $20. Okay, so what is the per kilometer charge? Suppose total distance is 20 kilometers. Okay, total distance is 20 kilometers, and you paid 10 rupees, $10. So what is the per kilometer charge?
2 rupees.
How?
Just I divide total kilometer divided by rupees.
Same thing you have to do. You have here also.
The total distance.
Charge per kilometer.
Charge per kilometer. So total charge is 2000 USD. Per kilometer is 500. So 500.
Wrong. You're wrong. You have done it wrong. Even previously you have done the calculation. I'm not asking you kilometer per cost. I'm asking cost per kilometer. Cost per kilometer. See, total distance you travel from your home to convention center is 10 kilometers. Okay, 10 kilometers. And you pay $20. You pay $20 for 10 kilometers. What is per kilometer charge? Charge per kilometer. How did you find it?
It was a simple calculation for the 10 kilometer 20 USD. So that for the one, the 20 divided by 10.
So how if you are paying $2,000 for 500 kilometers, then what is cost per kilometer? You apply same calculation over here also. So what is your guess? What is your guess here? Just do the
0.25
calculations.
is coming.
Impossible. Shoaib, what is your calculation here? Charge per kilometer, cost per kilometer.
For the 2000 USD, 500 kilometers.
Always, if you have problems, you have to write the statement. My total charge for 500 kilometer, total charge for 500 kilometer is $2,000. Write down below that. Below I'll tell you how to do. It's all about step-by-step procedure. Mathematics, you cannot do anything without these steps. Okay, let's write down below that. The total charge for 500 kilometer, the total charge for 500 kilometer is how much? $2,000. Total charge for 5 kilometers is how much? So, what is the charge for 1 kilometer then? The charge for 1 kilometer is 2000 divided by 500. 500. That is $4 per kilometer. USD per kilometer. And what is the cost per unit? This is $4 per kilometer for how much? How many units? 200 units. This is $4 per kilometer for 200 units. So per unit, how much is the cost then? So you can write a statement below now. No. You can write a statement below now. Charge for 200 units. Charge for 200 units is $4 per kilometer. Okay. So charge for 1 unit will be how much? Next term, charge for 1 unit. Just have to bring the 200 to the denominator. Is equal to 4 divided by 200. 4 divided by 200. There are other calculations are also there, but that is called volumetric weight. Okay, so that we will use in the next. So 4 USD per kilometer per instead of unit, we can also go for volumetric weight. Okay, but right now we're not going for volumetric weight because we want to keep it simple because we are doing optimization. So we'll keep USD per kilometer per unit. Otherwise, we'll go USD per kilometer per unit volumetric weight. So this is how you find cost per year per kilometer, USD per kilometer, cost per kilometer per unit. And there is no need to mug up these things. It is all about to think. Total distance is 500. Total cost is 2000. What is simple? Per kilometer, 2000 by 500. 4 USD per kilometer. Total unit is 200. Total the 4 USD per kilometer is for 200 units. For 1 unit, how much? That is 4 divided by 200. This is how you find cost per unit per cost per unit per kilometer, or cost per unit per unit. So like these, there are various KPIs are there. Costing paradigm, there are costing KPIs. There are various kind of, we can calculate cost per unit per, income terms, cost per unit, shipping company, cost per unit, port to port. Various KPIs are there in logistics. Basic is, this is how you need to calculate. Okay, so our data which we are going to put inside that particular matrix, that data is cost per unit per kilometer. Right? Please, if you have any questions, please ask, so I can understand what is the point here. Shoaib?
No, understood.
So this is cost per unit per kilometer, right? This is what we are putting the particular values in the matrix. So let's go to the matrix and let's put these values instead of these values, because we need to find this allocation. We should not write the allocation. Our objective is to find the allocation, which will minimize the cost of transport. So this allocation they have given, we should not write it. Let's put some values. Cost matrix. Cost values means cost is what? Cost per kilometer or cost per unit per kilometer. Remove these all values. Okay, so what is the first one? So Youngstown, right? Youngstown is going to Youngstown will not go to Youngstown, right? So put thousands there. Youngstown will not go to Youngstown, so put 1,000. Youngstown to Pittsburgh. Youngstown to will not go there. 1,000. Infinity. Youngstown to Cincinnati. Let's put 5 there. We say 5 means what is the meaning of 5? 5 per unit per kilometer. If I'm writing 5 there, the meaning of 5 is 5 per unit per kilometer. Okay. So Youngstown to Cincinnati, there is a transfer happening. There is material transfer is happening, and then we'll put 5 there. 5. Youngstown to Kansas, let's put 6. And Youngstown to Chicago, let's put 7. Similarly, Youngstown to Albany is where? Yeah. So there is no transfer. There is transfer happening. So let's put 12. Youngstown to Houston, there is no transfer. 1,000. Temple 1,000. Gary 1,000. Right? Now Pittsburgh to Youngstown. No, can you read that? What I'm saying? Why I'm saying 1,000? And Pittsburgh to Youngstown. 1,000. Why I'm saying 1,000? Pittsburgh to Youngstown.
So there is no distance between Pittsburgh and Youngstown.
There is no travel. It's not like no distance. There is no travel between them.
No travel.
Okay. Similarly, put the values. I want to see how you put the values.
No, it can be taken as a random number. 5, 6, 7, the score. It's not like that. Right now, because we are taking 3,000 for 5 for 3,000, we need to take the same 5 for this 3,000 also from
Yeah, like
Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh
Kansas.
to Albany, right?
It's
Pittsburgh.
not like we can take.
Yeah, we can take any random value. Pittsburgh, but you have to see the distance, right? Look at distance also. This distance means visual distance. If something is far, put a bigger number. Something is closer, put a smaller number. Like if you're putting Pittsburgh to Albany, Pittsburgh to Albany, there is no transfer. Are you doing any transfer between Pittsburgh to Albany? Albany? Look at the diagram. Pittsburgh, where is Pittsburgh? Where is Albany? Are you doing any direct transfer?
No.
Then you put, what you will put there?
We put 1,000.
Okay. Now next. So you have to follow the visual distance. Okay. If the visual distance is larger, put the larger value. Okay, good. And there is no backward journey. Either you make control D, it will come down. You either enter manually or make it control D. So the value for the top will come down. Okay, so you don't need to copy and paste. Okay, now here, Cincinnati to Cincinnati. So are you traveling from Cincinnati to Cincinnati?
No, no fish. 1,000.
In supply chain analytics, the first thing is start with the question, problem. What is the problem? Okay. Next thing starts with the quantification of the problem. That is also called KPI. But KPI, if you look at KPIs, they are actually defined KPIs. So we are not going for defined KPIs. We are creating a KPI based upon our problem. Don't look for defined KPIs when you're going for analytics. Look for the KPIs based on your problem. Third is, once you have the problem, once you have defined your problem, quantified your problem, then go for the causes. What is the cause of the problem? Again, define them. Like this, you formulate your problem. Like this, you build your analytics framework. And this, in this way, you will be able to generate your solutions. So like cost per unit per kilometer. There are various ways of computing that cost. So over here in this kind of problem, we are going for cost per kilometer per unit, or cost per unit per kilometer as our KPI. And we want to solve the problem. We want to minimize this cost per unit per kilometer. That is what we want to minimize. Then template will also be same. Houston to there is no. Yeah, I think we have to put 1000 there, and we have to drag all the values down. Same values. Copy and paste all the values from the top and paste. And we have one more, right? Gary. I think same. Gary will also be same. There is no outgoing from there. Okay, so this is our cost per unit per kilometer matrix. Right? So what we'll do, we'll just complicate this problem. Right now it's quite simple here. We'll complicate the problem. Okay, so what we'll do now, Cincinnati, we have Cincinnati is dispatching to two locations, Albany and Houston. Right? So we'll add 4 locations. We'll make 4 locations. Cincinnati will be dispatching to all the 4 field warehouses. Cincinnati, Kansas, and Chicago. Right? We'll make it all. So for the go to Cincinnati road in the cost per unit per kilometer matrix. Yeah. Now the last thousands are there. Tempe and Gary. Put some values. 8 and 15. 8 and 15. Similarly, second Albany. Go to Kansas City. Go to Kansas City. Go to Kansas City. Yeah. In the Albany, in the Albany column, yeah, cell there put 11, and the Gary put 16, and the next one is Chicago. In Chicago, you go and put Albany 8, Albany 8. Sorry, Albany 18. Not 18, 18. And Houston put 17. Okay, so this is our, and we'll also further complicate this problem. We'll put Youngstown to, and instead of delivering to only 2 locations, right? 3 locations. What are the 3 locations? Cincinnati, Kansas, and Albany. Chicago also is on. Is Chicago here? Chicago is also there. So what are this? Chicago, and only one more location is there. That is Albany. Okay, 4. Okay, 4 locations. Okay. We'll add one more here. We'll put Kansas is doing Cincinnati, Kansas, and Chicago. Okay, it's fine. Now Pittsburgh is doing 3 locations. It is doing Gary also, right? Okay, 4 locations. Okay. Fine. Okay. This is why cost per unit per kilometer matrix. This is fine. Now what we'll do? Now build our allocation matrix. Volume, right? Volume allocation matrix. Not volume allocation matrix. So the matrix is clear. The cost per unit per kilometer matrix is clear.
Yes, good.
Any questions? Just check.
No question, Krish.
Okay. Now, so we have to copy and paste this matrix below. We have to copy and paste this matrix. You have to take copy and paste not from there. You have to copy and paste from the K. Yeah, we have to take the row, the column also. Now we're not getting a point. K. Yeah. So remove the cost per unit per kilometer matrix word that we don't want. Okay, now we'll put our constraints here. First, let's put the sum of the rows, sum of the columns.
So we will put 0 first.
Yeah, we put 0.
Then-
If we do not put 0, it doesn't problem.
Then-
Put 0. Put 0. To be drag that number up to bottom and drag it horizontally. Yes. Yeah. Okay, now we have to find our constraint. For the first thing what we do is we'll find the sum of the rows and sum of the column. No, you don't have to write that. You have to find the sum of rows.
Chris, why it is changing? I do every time this 18.
What is changing?
See, I'm changing this font size, showing 12, right? And I did multiple times this 18.
Okay, so that's I think we need to.
Again, back to 12.
Okay, just save. Just go to the 12 to 18.
Yes.
Okay, save the file now.
Yeah, I did.
Save the file once again. You're not saving the
Fine.
file. 18 and go to click on save.
Click on
Save. So you have to save the file. Save.
save. Yeah, I did. Save to my mouth.
Okay, now you click on.
But again 12. Anyways, so now this is the sum of the row and sum of the column.
Yeah. Now what is allocation? We put a constraint, right? So what is the supply? How much supply? Let's do one thing. Go to that clear the right hand side. There is called there is erase button is there on the left hand side of sort and filter. On the left hand side of sort and filter. On the left hand side. There is
Yeah,
sort and
this
filter. No,
is sort and filter.
No, I'm saying that left hand side of sort and filter. There is a button. Left hand side of sort and filter. Left hand side. See below the third one. Sum. No, that is not. That is clear.
Okay, this one.
Yeah, clear formats. Okay, now you go to 18 once and now go to calendar 18. Now click here. Still. Okay.
Wait, if I go to 18 and then I say my 5 and then again now again 12.
Okay, now do manually increase the size. Don't increase like this. Click on the A. Next to 12, there is A. Next to 12. 12 means the Calibri body.
Next.
The size, font size is there, right? Font size, next to font size. A, capital A. Yeah, increase that. Click on it. Yeah, now leave it. I think you have 26, you have 126. Okay, we'll see it later.
Yeah, now this is the sum of the row and the column.
What's the supply volume from the Youngstown?
How much? 10,000.
I don't know. You have to calculate. What is the total supply volume from Youngstown? Do one thing. Click on the cell there. Click on the cell on the yeah. No, yeah. Click below that. Yeah. Right click. Right click. Go to format cell. Go to format cell. Now go to font. Okay, now here increase size from here. Make it 18 here. Click OK. Okay. Now you try to check. Go here once again. Go there once again. The cell which you have done the 18. Yeah, now you get 18 there, right? 18 there. Now here you have selected 18 normal. Make it normal font. Click on normal font. Click on normal font. No, font. Next to color there is a font, normal font.
Where is also?
Yeah. Click OK. No, go to 18. Go to 18. Oh. Go back to format cell. Okay, but check it 18. Go to 18 now. No, keep it normal. Go to 18. Yeah. Now click OK.
Should I select this normal?
Yeah, you have to select normal font.
But I am selecting this. While I am selecting this normal font, it is taking 12.
Now make right. Click 18 again. Oh, it's not correct.
Yeah. So.
Okay, now we will do one thing. Click OK now. Select the cell to next cell below that. Click on any cell.
There.
Yeah. So what you have to do, you have to select the entire range. Okay. You have to select the entire range. So what you do, click on that. Can you see that top corner of the left hand side, or the top, next to diagram. Go to diagram. Go to the area of diagram. Oh, no, there is A, right? A row there, right? Next to that. Next to that. No. Next to that. Side of A. Left hand side of A. Left hand side of A.
Okay.
Left of A. There is diagonal point is there. Yeah. Now go to the font size now. Go to font size. 18. Yeah. Now save the file once. Okay, now come back to the.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah. So now, what is supply value? How much supply Youngstown can do? How much supply Youngstown do?
How much supply can do? It is showing 10,000.
Where? How did 10,000 is come? Can you calculate it?
So. So manually, I need to write.
No. You are saying 10,000, right? Go to diagram once again. Tell me.
Right.
We'll just see manually right now. Go to diagram and tell me, go to diagram. Tell me how did you get 10,000? Youngstown. What is the delivery capacity of Youngstown? How did you find 10,000?
So
You have the that is written there.
it is showing,
Okay. So 10,000 is going right. Not 10,000.
right.
What is distribution of this 10,000? What is the distribution of this
What is the
10,000?
distribution of 10,000? So distribution of the 10,000 is 3,000 Cincinnati, 3,000 Kansas City, and 3,000 Chicago. It would be 9 and 1,000 for the Albany.
Okay, that's good. That is what I wanted to see actually. So let's go to the allocation metric and let's put the constraint. Similarly, the Pittsburgh is 15,000, right? So let's put the constraint there. So Youngstown can only deliver 10,000 and Pittsburgh can deliver 15,000. Okay, so let's come to the allocation matrix. Let's go to the allocation matrix. Okay, so here, constraint 1. We put a constraint 1. So here Youngstown can deliver 10,000. Put there 10,000. Okay, Pittsburgh can deliver 15,000. Okay, now before going to transshipment points, we'll go to the destination points, field warehouses. So how many field warehouses we have? We have 4 field warehouses, right? Albany, Houston, Tempe, and Gary. So my question is, are these four field warehouses, are they delivering anything? Are they dispatching anything? These field warehouses, are they dispatching anything? We have 4 field warehouses. Are they dispatching anything?
From these warehouses,
My question is, the last 4 warehouses we have, the field warehouses, are they dispatching anything?
No.
So what will be dispatch volume there? The constraint box for these 4 field warehouses. Like we have, Youngstown is dispatching 10,000. Pittsburgh is dispatching 15,000. So they are supply points, they are factories. Now I'm talking about field warehouses. Are they dispatching anything? Like Albany, Houston, Tempe, Gary. Are they dispatching anything anywhere?
No.
So what is the volume, the dispatch volumes from these 4 field warehouses? If they're not dispatching anything, then what should the dispatch volume in terms of number?
0.
So put 0 in the constraint box for the last 4 warehouses. Albany, Houston, Tempe, and Gary. Chicago we don't have to put. We don't need to put Chicago. We have to put from Albany.
3 warehouse, right? So 3 warehouses.
Not 3 warehouses, 4 warehouses there. Albany, Houston, Tempe, and Gary. Okay, they're not delivering anything, not dispatching anything. Right? They are the recipients. They are only the recipients of the volume. They are not the delivery. They are not doing any delivery as per this network. As per this network, they are not doing any deliveries. Okay. Now we come to Cincinnati, Kansas, and Chicago. They are the transshipment points. Cincinnati, Kansas, and Chicago. They are the transshipment points. Okay. So let's go to diagram and see how much they are dispatching. How much they can dispatch.
Cincinnati,
So how much, if you look from this diagram, we have made some changes in this network diagram, right? The changes are that we made that Cincinnati is delivering to all the locations. Cincinnati, Kansas, and Chicago is delivering to all the 4 warehouses. But as per this diagram, they're delivering to 2 warehouses. If you look at the cost per unit per kilometer matrix, you will find that Cincinnati, Kansas, and Chicago, we made them to deliver to all the 4 locations. But here in this diagram, they're delivering to only 2 locations. Okay, so let's say the total dispatch volume is Cincinnati. Let's say if we look at here, Cincinnati is receiving how much? 3,000 plus 3,000. 6,000 is what Cincinnati is receiving. Look at the flow from Youngstown, Cincinnati. Look at the flow from Youngstown to Cincinnati. How much is coming in?
3,000.
Look at the flow from Pittsburgh to Cincinnati.
2,000.
2,000, 5,000, right? Total incoming is 5,000.
Total is 5,000.
Similarly,
Right.
for Kansas is how much incoming?
3,000, 3,000, 6,000.
6,000. So 6,000 plus 5,000, 11,000. What is about the Chicago?
Chicago, 3,000, 3,000, 6,000.
6,000 plus
11,000 plus 6,000, 17,000.
17,000, right? Total volume is how much? Total capacity is how much? 25,000.
17,000.
25,000. Total capacity to supply from the factories is 25,000, but factories are only selling how much?
17,000.
17,000. Okay. Now, what is demand? What is total demand from the field warehouses?
3,000, 7,000, 10,000, 4,000, 14,000, 14 and 6, 21,000.
14 plus 6, 21? 14 plus 6, 20. 1 plus 7,
21. 21.
So 1,000, 3,000 plus 7,000, 10,000, 10,000 plus 14,000, 14,000 plus 6,000, right? That is last one, Gary.
6,000.
It's 20,000 is total 20,000.
All right. Right. This one.
20,000 is there, right? So the demand is 20,000. The capacity to supply from factories is 25,000. Right? But the problem here is that, so we'll make some amendments here. Okay, we'll make some amendments here. So let's say Cincinnati can receive, or Cincinnati can first we'll say receive area. We'll go to receive area now. Okay, we'll make amendments in this particular one. Go to cost matrix and we'll make amendments. Now we know 20,000 is a demand, 25,000 is the actual supply capacity. Now we'll make amendments here. Okay.
Should I write?
No, we'll write down here. No, don't anything. Let's go to the first element matrix. So the first thing in the receiving area, in area, receiving area is column wise. We look at column wise. Go to the allocation matrix, and first one is Youngstown. Youngstown in the receiving area. There is not receiving area. There is a dispatch area. You can mention there is some dispatch. Some is dispatch. Sum of dispatches. Is outflow. Always when you drawing a matrix, you need to understand what is outflow and what is inflow. This is outflow, right? Dispatch means outflow. And where is the sum of receipt? Sum of receipt. Just inflow. This is the area we need to be this is concept we need to have a very clear understanding. Okay, so what is inflow? No. What is inflow at Youngstown? Don't do anything here. That's the sum, right? Below that. Below that. We are putting constraint now, right? Constraints for the inflow. We are putting constraint for inflow. Let's clearly understand inflow. Okay. So what is the inflow at Youngstown? What is the inflow at Youngstown?
Inflow is 0.
Yeah. What is the
And
inflow
out-
at, what is the inflow at Pittsburgh?
Same as it is 0.
Yeah. Let's put those values there. Okay. Now what is the inflow at Cincinnati? As of now, we see 3,000 plus 2,000.
1,000 plus 2,000.
2,000, right? So we'll increase that. We'll make changes here now. So let's put the value there, 7,000. We'll make changes.
How come 7?
We are making,
5,000?
yeah, the diagram of 5,000, but we are going to make changes now.
Okay.
We are remodeling that. Similarly, Kansas City, make it 7,500. Right now, 6,000 there. Make 7,500. 7,500.
How much?
7,500.
7,000. Okay.
So how much? 14,500. Now we'll put one more is it's 5,500. Next one. 5,500. What is total sum now? Total sum of these three. You just select it. Just select. You'll get all the answers. You will select it. Select these three. Select the three.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, not internal. Okay, fine. Now, the last 4 field warehouses, are they going to receive or are they going to dispatch? That's go to diagram and look at there. Are the four field warehouses, they're dispatching points or they're receiving points?
They are receiving point. All.
Or receiving
Yes, sir,
points, so we
receiving
have to put receiving volumes there, right? We'll put the receiving volumes there. So the receipt values. So go to the allocation matrix and we'll put receiving volume. So what is the first one? 3,000. What is second one? Go to the diagram and check. 7,000.
7,000.
Next is 4,000.
And
4,000. And last is 6,000. Okay. Now we have to put these are our constraint for ins. So constraint for outs, we have to put Cincinnati value, Kansas value, Chicago value, right? In the constraint for outs, in the column W, yeah, put 7,000. Same thing what we had in the 7,000, 7,500. Next, 7,500. Next is 5,500. Okay. Now we will measure our out minus in, sum of out minus in the column X. Any questions here?
no.
Now we'll measure out minus in equal to V. Yeah. Click on the minus. No. Top one. Sum of receipt. Sum of receipt.
Oh, right. This one. Inflow.
These are the things we need to understand conceptually.
You didn't see. Yeah, done.
Done?
Just check.
Wrong. Wrong. It is wrong. It's not T40. This is T41. You're taking the Gary values.
This will minus this one. Yeah, right. Right.
Now we'll put one more constraint. Okay, fine. The next constraint is out minus in constraint.
So
Okay, so-
again, we would need to write this 100
No. Equal to.
because
Click on the constraint of out constraint. 1,000, 10,000, right?
okay.
This is 10,000 minus in constraint. Youngstown. Yeah. Youngstown to Youngstown. Yeah. Enter. Same further. So this is Pittsburgh constraint minus. Okay.
Yeah.
So just give a name to W, the column W. Just constraint.
Chris, just one question. Why did we do this? This like earlier we used to 1001.
Where we did put 1001?
Not here in the previous last
Because
example.
this is allocation, right? We are doing volume allocation here.
Volume allocation here.
Previously, we used to do selection, right? We were doing selection of locations. Now we are doing volume allocation. Means how much volume we have to ship so that the cost is minimized. Have volume. You know, how much volume have to ship from Youngstown to Cincinnati? How much volume have to ship from Youngstown to Chicago? How much volume has to be shipped from Chicago to Gary? So that the overall cost per unit per kilometer is minimized. So this is a volume allocation matrix. It's not selection matrix. If it's selection matrix, we'll put 1000 and we'll get accordingly. Now you're getting, you want volume. So our total volume for Youngstown should be equal to 10,000. Total volume dispatch on Pittsburgh has to be equal to 15,000. The total, right? Total dispatch from Cincinnati has to be equal to 7,000. So this is not one. It's a volume. Now we are building a volume allocation matrix. So we want volume there, and that volume has to be equal to this constraint. Okay. So just make a change in the label. The label, the blue label. Go to column W. The label is there. Just make it constraint outflow. Instead of writing constraint, make it constraint outflow. Okay, now we have to find our objective function. We have to find our objective function. This is clear, we'll go to objective function. No, we have to go to objective function. Sum product of the cost per unit matrix and volume matrix. Sum product. We have to apply equal to sign. No, it's wrong. Okay. Yeah, sum product. Okay. Now. Okay. Wrong. You are taking some receipt inflow also inside. Are you?
Yes.
No, wrong. No. Yeah, that's right. Okay, now we'll go to modeling. Just look at everything properly. There's no hurry. Look at everything properly. All the constraint, why we have used this constraint. Because next problem I have to do from yourself. So that's why. Look at everything. The main thing is constraint. Main thing is the input of the Shred, any questions on your side?
No, no.
Any questions there?
Please tell me please one more thing. This constraint output.
What is that? Your voice is not clear.
Now?
Still not.
Now?
Yeah.
So, constraint outflow. So, instant information since nothing puts about 15,000.
What is the maximum dispatch the youngster can do? 10,000. Maximum dispatch Pittsburgh can do 15,000. What is the maximum dispatch Cincinnati can do? Whatever is received.
This is inflow. Constantly 7,000. Very. So, we are already solid application. Thank you.
Okay. So let's build a model now. Let's go to data, then go to solver. Go to solver. What is the objective? Okay, what we are doing? What is the variable cells? Where you want allocation? We have to add a constraints. What is the constraint? First thing, the variable cell has to be integer. The variable cells have to be integer. Add. Next, the sum of the columns. No. Don't have no. Sum of the columns. No. Remove that. What are you doing
Okay.
there? What is the objective there? What are you doing there? Remove. Yeah, sum of the receipts, right? Sum of the receipts. Click on sum of receipts. All the receipts. Up to Gary is equal to the sum of the sum, right? No. Constraint for inflow. Where is constraint for inflow? Where is outflow? Yeah, select it. Add. The same thing. Sum of the constraint for outflow. Sum of the constraint for outflow means column B. Yeah, that is equal to up to bottom is equal to the constraint for outflow. Add. The third constraint is out minus in. Is equal to out minus in constraint. Everywhere I have labeled in such a way that you get the understanding. Add. Cancel. Now cancel. Now go to simplex LP. Click solve. Let's wait for the solution. Click OK. Okay. So what we are getting here, the allocation is 4,000. Kingston will shift to 4,000. Kingston will shift to Tempe 4,000. So that's not possible. Tempe, we are not directly connecting with them. It's wrong. So we have to make some changes in the costing matrix. Go to cost matrix. This is satisfying everything, but I think we cost matrix, right? Let's make everything 1 lakh. Wherever 10,000 is there, right? 1,000 is there, no? Make it 1 lakh. Two zeros. You have to add 2 more zeros. Yeah, drag it down. Okay. Let's go to solve again and solve this problem again. Let's see how much we get. Because we should not go template. Template should not be the solution. Gary is not solution. We have to go to Cincinnati, Kansas, and Chicago. Okay. So let's go to solver and click on solve. Click on solve. Solve. Click OK. Okay. So it's not giving us a solution. So to make that 1,000, it is not giving a right solution because it is going to Tempe and Gary. So Tempe and Gary should not go. We should go to Cincinnati, Kansas, Chicago, or Albany. We should not go to Houston, Tempe, and Gary. Okay, let's check whether it's minimized or minimization or maximization. Minimization. We close this.
Sorry, please.
Yeah, close this. Close this.
Close.